The Philippines is not underdeveloped, it is overexploited. The Philippines is sitting on about 56 trillion pesos worth of untapped natural resources. And out of the natural resources we do mine, we ship it out without ever processing it, leading us to waste about 90% of the revenue potential of the minerals that we export. So, why is this happening? To understand why, we have to go 461 years into the past. This story begins with Spain's colonization of the Philippines. Because they couldn't rule over the numerically superior Filipinos by sending enough troops over, they implemented the hacienda system, where they gave power and land to certain families in order for these families to govern the Filipinos under them. So, Filipinos governing Filipinos for the Spanish. That in turn created immense wealth inequality, with certain families holding all the wealth and power. When the Spanish disappeared, these families did not, and they developed into the political dynasties that we see today. Wealth begets wealth. The problem is that over hundreds of years, the power and wealth of these influential families snowballed more and more, turning their companies into multi-billion peso monopolies that shut out competition. Now, here's the problem. Imagine you're one of those wealthy families and you get a billion pesos just by selling a little bit of the natural wealth that you own. Why would you risk spending 10 billion pesos to extract more natural resources or to build processing plants when you can just own the companies that are importing the finished goods from other places? So instead of building batteries ourselves or exporting more nickel, we only export a little bit of our nickel and then buy it back from other countries that turn it into batteries at a higher price, leading to bleeding of value in the Filipino economy. These structural issues get worse though, because the only thing that could fix this is the Filipino government. But the Filipino government is entrenched with the same political dynasties and families that I mentioned earlier as a product of colonialism. And so they often have ties to these very corporations, or they're simply corrupt and willing to be bribed because they need money in order to maintain their generational power and wealth and to stay in office. This in turn leads to brain drain. Because there's so much exploitation and corruption, our most talented Filipinos, the people with the skills like engineers, for example, or scientists that could turn the situation around, are instead going to first world countries to work and develop those countries and just sending money back to us. The problem with that is it means development will always happen outside the Philippines, made by Filipinos, never in the Philippines by Filipinos. That means that we will always be reliant on first world countries, our colonizers, to develop our goods for us. So I want you to understand. The next time someone says that the Philippines is stupid for not tapping into its natural resources, know that it's not because we haven't thought about it, but because we are still haunted by the same exploitative colonial structures that have bled Filipinos of their birthright for the past 500 years.